All right, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the one and only Wrestling Otaku channel. Of course, your personification of excellence on YouTube and YWC, and where the best reviews wrestling. And I'm back here. It is officially Tuesday, October 15th of 2024, so I figured I'd go ahead and make this little video. No wrestling topic today, no sports topic today. I just wanted to do this video because this is actually something I've been meaning to talk about for a while now, just given the subject matter. This is something I talked about before, or a situation that I've talked about before, and I feel like I should give a update in regards to the whole thing because there has been a bit of an update regarding the individual in question that I'm going to be discussing in this video. So want to get into it here while I'm not doing anything. I had a day off, nice day offs here, so figured to go ahead and make this video while I have the time while I'm thinking about it. Before I get into that, real quickly, let me just say, for those of you who have known me long enough, I've been on this channel, I've been on, this site long enough since 2015. Well, actually, I was on before that. I was on since 2009, and I started video making regularly in 2015. I come on here and I say the things that I say, I do the things that I do, and, people, they say what they will about me. They don't know me in person, they don't know me in real life. They assume what they know. But I come on here and I present myself in a certain way. And I believe that what I do on here with these videos and how I act and how I speak and the things I say in these videos is more of an extension of how I am in real life. It's really more so me turned or dialed up, to the umpteenth degree. Like me, my personality, if you will, dialed up to 11. These are my real opinions. Don't get me wrong. The things I say about wrestling and sports and everything, these are my real opinions. But I obviously don't talk like this and I don't act like this in real life. And anybody who thinks that is a damn fool and they don't know me. But then again, that's fucking everybody because you got a lot of trolls and idiots and people who assume shit. They don't know a damn thing about me in real life. They've never met me in real life, never had a conversation with me in real life, yet they want to assume how I am. But I come on here and I have, I guess you could call it a persona. I portray myself in a certain way on here. And, I can be boisterous, I can be loud, and I can be, some people will call it cockiness or arrogance or whatever. I personally think it's a level of confidence, I am confident enough in my ability and what I do with this channel, with the videos that I make and with the things that I say, the statements I make. I'm confident in what I say and what I do. That's just how it is, and it's something that I've built up over time. I was not always like this. Like in my school days, I was more of the shy kid, actually. And over time, after I graduated and I got more acclimated into like the world and everything else, and especially here on the online space, I became more and more, shall we say, open to expressing things. That's just how I am. And I more so exude that, and I more so display that online, obviously. But, despite that, despite how boisterous I may seem and, how I'll say things like, I'm the top, right now I say, I'm the best, one of the best wrestling channels, one of the best wrestling reviewers on YouTube, so on and so forth. I make all these proclamations about myself and all that. And, it's to a degree very real. Nobody can dispute it. But despite all that, what I want to say here, I'm big enough, I'm man enough to come on here and admit to everyone when I'm wrong about something, right? I'm more than man enough to admit when I'm wrong. And so I want to come on here with this video and admit to all of you right here on this channel on YouTube, I believe that I was wrong about DrDisRespect. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, a couple months back, I think it was right before I did my hiatus, I think it was around late June going into July, it might have been mid-July, I did a video regarding the DrDisRespect situation. You all should know what I'm talking about if you saw the first video. But DrDisRespect came under fire because of some allegations regarding him exchanging messages with a minor on Twitch. And this is the reason why he was banned off Twitch. And this was kept secret for many years until it was recently revealed by somebody who was a Twitch executive. I believe his name was Cody Connors, if I'm not mistaken. Cody Connors on I believe, X or whatever, basically blurted out, the reason DrDisRespect was banned because he was, texting them, or he was messaging a minor on Whispers on Twitch, and so on and so forth. And this led to a wave of controversy, and everybody basically, had this whole thing against him, and he basically, shortly after that, I guess he kind of caught wind of it, and he decided to go on vacation, which, led more people to believe that something was up. And he basically went on hiatus. He went on vacation for about a month or so. And he has recently come back, I believe, in like late August, if I'm not mistaken. It was right around the time that I came back. But he was like throughout August, he was like posting on his timeline on X, basically teasing that he was saying he was on vacation, he was going to be coming back, and now finally he returned. He returned and he made a statement addressing all the allegations. Now I'm not going to get into everything he said here because I'm not this. That isn't really my place. I'm not. I don't follow the whole time. I don't know anything. Like I don't know the whole timeline. I haven't been following Dr. Disrespect that long. I'm not big on the whole realm and the spectrum and the verse of everything that happened in Dr. Disrespect and what he does. So I'm just gonna briefly go over what he said. In so many words to summarize, he basically grilled Cody Connors and grilled the people, the executives at Twitch, because in his words, and again, this is just me summarizing. I didn't listen to the whole statement. I listened to the majority of it, bits and pieces of it. He basically stated that everything that happened back then, the whole Twitch ban, it was supposed to be kept, a secret. It's supposed to be kept under wraps because the reason why is because there was actually litigation. There was actually a court case regarding it. There were lawyers involved. There are all sorts of legal procedures involved with it between him, Dr. Disrespect, and his team, and the Twitch executives in question who knew about this. And there were NDAs signed, that being non-disclosure agreements, to where they would settle everything in court and it would be kept secret and nobody would speak a word of it, or nobody was allowed legally to speak on it. Because again, the NDAs, they're not supposed to, speak legally. It's a legally binding agreement to not disclose any information about what happened for that situation. So they settled everything and blah blah blah, and was supposed to have been it. Well, Cody Connors, when he basically made that statement, he made that post on X talking about the whole Dr. Disrespect thing. He basically violated the agreement and he violated the NDA. And then Dr. Disrespect basically went into more detail about what had happened. Like, him basically saying, yes, I was messaging somebody, but it wasn't like sexting or it wasn't sexual, or, so on and so forth. And so, again, I'm not going to get into all the details of what he said, but that was pretty much the gist of it. And he basically explained his side. He stated his case. And basically, in essence, to summarize, he said he really didn't do anything wrong. So listening to the whole thing and just hearing like the way he came out and what has now happened afterwards, he is now he has gone back to streaming again and so on and so forth. And so yeah, for me personally, and again, I don't claim to be some expert on this shit. Like I said, I don't follow him to that extent, and I just kind of casually followed the story when it broke because I was interested, and it was a big thing. Everybody was talking about it. But personally, like looking at it objectively, I think Dr. Disrespect did the right thing. I do think until proven otherwise, it's really hard to make a case against him. Like if this whole thing was known by Twitch, by these executives, and he settled in court, and there were NDAs to keep everything secret, to not disclose anything, and that was supposed to have been it, and they came to that agreement, then the fact that somebody came out and basically snitched and basically revealed what had happened, that is a violation of the agreement. And if him doing what he did, like, again, we didn't, to this point, at least to my immediate knowledge as of today, none of those messages exchanged between Dr. Disrespect and this alleged minor have been leaked or have been shown. So we don't really know what the basis of the conversation was, or like how the conversation went. He could say that, it leaned towards being inappropriate. That could mean anything, that doesn't exactly mean that it was sexting, or that it was, he was, trying to get this person to do something, or whatever the case may be. There was also an allegation that he wanted to meet her at TwitchCon or some shit like that back then, and he denies this. He said he never agreed to, or he never wanted to meet this individual at any convention, or he basically denies it. And so, but yeah, so basically based on his take and his assessment or his explanation, now there are going to be people who are obviously going to be against it. Of course, you already saw afterwards, people responding to his statements and his claims, saying that, it doesn't really explain anything, blah blah blah, and we should see the text and we should see the messages. But based on how he replied to it, and just based on like the grand scheme of everything, like how the whole thing was presented, like how the whole thing came out and then how he addressed it afterwards, it's really hard to make a case against him, again, unless somebody has legitimate factual evidence, like say messages that prove otherwise, like if they actually show the messages and they prove otherwise, then it'll be really hard to make a case against him, you know? And I personally think that this isn't going to, obviously, this is not going to appease everybody. And I think at some point, I don't know if they ever will. I don't know if those messages will ever be shown, you know, just because, again, we're talking about confidentiality. We're talking about privacy, you know, getting it onto that whole thing. So, I mean, unless the person in question, you know, the alleged minor who was messaging, unless they come out and, you know, say something or show their side or explain their side, and it goes against anything DrDisRespect, you know, stated here, it's really going to be hard to make a case against that, you know? And I think one thing people in this country seem to not understand is the fact that it is innocent until proven guilty, you know? And up to this point, based on everything that he explained and based on everything, like how everything that came out about it, he has not really been proven guilty on anything. Like, you know, and people are going to come out and say, oh, well, he admitted it. Like, again, him stating that, you know, he messaged this person, that, again, messages like that is such a broad spectrum. Like, that doesn't really state anything, you know? Those messages exchanged could be anything. And again, I really think that at some point, again, I know it's never going to happen because of what I said before, but at some point, maybe those messages will be divulged and maybe we'll see what the extent of the conversation was. But until then, it's like, you really can't fault him at all here, you know? Or I should say it would be hard to. And looking back on it, just based on the way he reacted and based on, like, just, again, me looking at this objectively speaking from more of an outside party, because I don't follow this as closely as maybe these other people do. But objectively speaking, you know, I don't think that being DrDisRespect, I don't think he is this evil, bad individual that people are claiming, you know? And I've gotten the opportunity since this whole thing, you know, kind of since he came under fire, since this whole thing broke, and since this whole controversy started, I've gotten the opportunity to basically go and watch some of his videos, some of his content, more so like compilation videos, rage compilations, and various moments that he's had over his career, you know, streaming on Twitch and on YouTube. And I'll say, like, he's a pretty entertaining guy. I'll say that. He's certainly a character. Like, he really exemplifies, he portrays that character well. And so, you know, and I really believe, honestly, and I know, again, it's a persona and this, that, and the third, and, you know, he really lives the quote-unquote gimmick, you know, DrDisRespect. He really lives that gimmick. But I personally think that, much like myself, it is an extension of how he is as a person. Like, I don't think he acts that way, like, full on. I don't think he exudes that to the degree that he does during his streams and shit. But, like, he's a character. Like, he just does these things. Like, if you like watch his content, if you watch his streams and shit, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, he'll just be like doing whatever. He'll be like reading comments, or he'll be gaming or whatever, and then he'll just break out singing just randomly, or he'll just like make these like weird freaking statements like yeah, you know, that whole shit. And just like, it's just so random. Like, I honestly think that's who he is deep down. Like, he just really amps that up, like, during the streams. And I've heard him like talk about, you know, in the NFL. I guess I think he's a 49ers fan, some shit like that. I even a few times heard him make reference to like wrestling, like pro wrestling, like WWE specifically. I heard him, you know, talk about Braun Strowman and Undertaker and stuff. So, you know, in my book, just looking at it, now that I've got a chance to reassess him, you know, after this whole thing came out, after he basically stated his side, and after this whole thing was basically, you know, divulged, and he's now back to streaming on a regular basis. And he said at the end of his explanation that, you know, after he basically stated his side, that he's not going to get into it any further unless, quote, he has to, because he does have more. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure if, you know, he would actually be willing to share the messages, or if there's something more in regards to the whole thing with him and Twitch, the Twitch executives, Cody Carr, whoever. But again, I don't know what that means. But, only time will tell. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more legal proceedings down the line, especially if there's violation of NDAs and all that shit. But yeah, like, now that I've gotten the chance to reassess him, like, as a person, like, as a content creator, I personally think he's not a bad dude. Like, I honestly do. I think he's not a bad guy. So that's just me. That's just my opinion. I'm not asking anybody watching this to agree with my stance or what I think, but I personally don't think he's a bad dude. I really don't. And so, again, unless something changes, unless we are proven otherwise, I don't think he committed any wrongdoing, and we'll just have to wait and see, Up to this point, it's now, mid-October, and his whole thing came out, like late August going into September, and he's been streaming ever since, and he's been doing, pretty much what he was doing before this whole thing came out. So doesn't look like anybody's coming to, doesn't look like anybody's going to come out and counter anything he said. So I just think that until further notice, I just believe that, he has not committed any wrongdoing, and I personally believe that. I came on here just to say that I think I was wrong in my initial assessment on. Now, I'm not gonna. If you guys remember that the first video I did where I talked about the DrDisRespect situation, when it was right, this was right after the whole thing, kind of broke down, and I wanted to make a video on it. Even back then, I didn't necessarily say that he was guilty. I didn't necessarily say, oh yeah, he's done. Fucking tie him up to a tree, drive a stake through his heart. He's done. Blah blah blah, or any of that sort of stuff that these other people were doing. What I said specifically was that if he was guilty, or if he is guilty, or if he was guilty or proven guilty of the things that he's being accused of, that being sexting a minor or whatever it was he was being accused of, then he deserves to lose everything. That's what I said. If you listen back to the video, that's distinctly what I said. But now, listening to him come out and state his side, give his side of things, and based on, how the whole thing happened, transpired, whatever have you, and based on everything I've seen, I'm now inclined to believe that I don't think he did anything wrong, and I think he handled it about as well as you could handle something like that. So, again, unless something else comes out, until things change, I personally don't think he did anything wrong. So that's just me. And I personally wanted to admit that I may have been wrong in my initial assessment on him in that regard. So just wanted to say that. Just wanted to come out and clear the air and update you guys in regards to what I think regarding that whole thing. Again, I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be right about everything, except for pro wrestling, because I'm always right about pro wrestling. I don't claim to be right about everything, but that's just who I am. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect. I'm only human. But anyway, so that's pretty much really all I have to say on that. I actually have since then subscribed to DrDisRespect's channel, and I have gotten the opportunity to catch some of his live stream, like the ones that he's been doing recently, like the Triple Threat Challenge or whatever. I don't watch every single one because, again, I don't have time to do all that. But I've seen like at least 2 or 3 of them since, in the last couple of weeks, and not in its entirety, because he streams for like hours on end. Like, he has like 3-4 hour streams, sometimes longer than that. So I'll catch bits and pieces of it. But yeah, like I said, he's an entertaining guy, and I think it's kind of obvious to see why how he got the reputation he got. So, and watching those rage compilations, those are hilarious. Like, honestly, some of those older videos where he was doing those rage videos, talk about Call of Duty and Fortnite and H1Z1. Those are some hilarious videos, like, honestly. So yeah, it's good stuff. But anyway, I personally don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's a good dude. That's at heart. That's just me personally speaking. But anyway, so that's just my take on it, and that's just my kind of follow-up on the DrDisRespect situation. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this video. So thank you for watching here. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. Leave a comment. Give me your thoughts on anything I talked about here. What's your take on this whole DrDisRespect thing? Do you think he was right? Do you think he was in the wrong? Whatever your stance is, go ahead and let me know in the comments. And be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Appreciate all the support I can get. And with that being said, it's pretty much going to do it, man. So thanks for watching again. I will see you guys in the next video. I got more content coming very soon. Got some wrestling topics, maybe some sports topic, maybe a sports topic video at some point down the line. Be sure to check out my other channels as well. Phantom Anime Reviewer, my anime channel, on my Fortune 4 Shooters channel, my group channel. So that's pretty much all I got to say for this video. So thank you for watching once again. Until next time, Wrestling Otaku. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, I'm out. Peace.